Route 1, Box 200, Branch, Louisiana, zip code 70516. That was the mailing address of the tiny 5-room house off the gravel road next to the woods where I grew up. Once you climbed the 2 uneven steps and opened the screen door, you were in. 7 people lived in that sharecropper's house. My dad, mom, me, my 3 younger sisters, and my brother. We didn't own the house, but my parents made sure it felt like home and was always neat and clean. Faith and family lived there alongside hard work, determination, bigger dreams, and stories. The first room you entered was the kitchen, the heart of the house, where we got our fill of Mom's Louisiana cooking. The kitchen served several functions. It was a den where we watched our favorite shows on a 7-inch portable black and white TV. Where after we washed the dishes and swept the floor, knelt for nightly prayer. There was no getting out of that one. And it was a place where people could come and share their stories of loss and disappointment. And they always found my mom willing to listen and offer words of encouragement and words of wisdom. It was a place where my father told hilarious stories from his childhood, how he wanted to own his own home and make life better for his children. There were 2 bedrooms. When we were very young, all the kids slept in the same room. 2 tiny beds, 2 girls in each, my baby brother on the floor. After all these years, I still think he got the best part of that deal. And then there was the front room. We called it that simply because it faced the front of the gravel road. It wasn't like the other rooms that welcomed laughter and stories and life lessons. The door was usually closed and we couldn't go in there to play or mess it up. You went in there to dust, clean, and make sure everything is in order just in case company came. It was where my mother meticulously housed the best of the hand-me-down furniture and mementos. And yes, there was plastic on the sofa and chairs. There was only so much we would know about the front room, so I made up my own story. It was my room. It was a place in my mind where I could go and have a few moments of peace and quiet in a crowded house. It was where I could let my tears flow when someone told me that my dreams were unrealistic or ridiculous. Where in my head, I could replay all arguments with the kids I went to school with. I would always come out the winner. It was where I could say what I wanted to say, and I didn't have to bite my tongue, or listen to conventional wisdom, or follow the path that society said was good enough for me. I needed the front room to be my room. I've always been fascinated by stories. As a reporter, the ones I love to tell are about people who are not well known. That family that lost everything in a fire. Hurricane Katrina survivors. The one who leaves the good, safe corporate job to start a nonprofit. I take great care with the stories of others. I want them told with dignity, and if I stay out of the way, it is the story that takes center stage. But the truth is, I've hidden behind my passion for telling the stories of others. I've used that passion to keep the focus, the spotlight off of me. And that passion has been used to reinforce messages that told me to wait my turn. Don't cause a fuss. Don't make a mess. Sometimes we encounter a person who knocks us off our feet, just do the impossible with us. It makes us see what we need to see. She's well known in her industry, poised, insightful. About 3 years ago, we were at a networking event, sitting at the same table. And then suddenly it was just the two of us. So, Monica, what's your story? I was well prepared to tell her a little bit about myself, my standard soundbite, what I do at the station, how long I've been there. But the words just wouldn't come. And I could tell she really wanted to know about me. She leaned in, looked into my soul. She really wanted to know. I wanted to run out of the room. As she got up to leave, she whispered, Monica, you have a powerful story to tell. I wanted to say, can you tell me what it is? I felt like a fraud. For long before that day, I had been thinking about my story, what to say about myself beyond what I do for a living. As a reporter, I had become so comfortable keeping the focus off of me. I was an objective reporter, proud of that. But I noticed that I had started to downplay my own story, diminish it, that I had become like the front room, guarded, holding my story close, covered in plastic, only for visiting, not for living in, spotless, nothing out of order or explored, a mystery the world would only get to know so much. As reporters, we work in the moment. Get the story, get the facts, stay out of the way. But we can't afford to sit in the emotion of that moment. If we're to do this work, we need to be detached, something that is necessary. Because if we sit in the moment in the emotion of that moment, we can't hold objectivity in that space of it. It becomes hard because what we have to do is move on. Move on to the next assignment, the next person's story. I had become so good at that. So good that I won an Emmy. But then I hid it in a drawer. For a journalist, the thought of a story not finished or one not followed up on can be unsettling. You need the beginning, the middle, the end. You have to finish. You are on deadline and it better be ready by 5 o'clock. But what I now know is that my story is unfolding and I'm choosing to live it as a developing story, to learn it. And that I don't have to be limited to sound bites or tied in a nice, neat bow every time I tell it. It doesn't have to be perfect. All I have to do is be willing to live it and be honest. And that is a thing of beauty. So, Monica, what's your story? While I may not be able to fully answer my colleague from 3 years ago, I would give her an update. I would tell her, first of all, that she was absolutely correct. I do have a powerful story to tell. And that right now it's about being vulnerable, being open, honest, by being brave, sharing the doubts and the joys, and boldly talking about my achievements. And that my story is worth telling, worth owning, that my story matters. And it deserves to be told with the same amount of dignity and care that I have given others. That old house at Route 1, Box 200, Branch, Louisiana, is gone, torn down years ago. The front room is gone. But I don't need it. I don't need to go back inside, for I am here. My story is here, out in the world.